Yellow. Thought I'd throw another video up. This one addressing student loan debt. Um, there's some calls for forgiving student loan debt, uh, which would, it would boost the economy, so it would increase demand, so it would alleviate people with student loan debt, um, like myself. My student loan debt's not very much though. I only have like 7 grand left on my student loan debt. I've been pretty aggressively paying that down. Um, but I mean, a lot of folks took out, considerably more in student loans than I did. And it kind of boils down to, you go to college to get a degree, to get a better job. So in theory, you can pay those student loans. So taking on the student loans doesn't seem like an insanely risky move. If at the end of the day you graduate and you're going to be able to attain a job that pays a decent wage. The problem here is the economy in the U.S. has shifted to the point where you you just don't need to be educated to do anything. Professions that require it, like for example, being a teacher, um, you graduate maybe with a teaching degree, maybe probably say 40 grand in debt. So you go and maybe you are able to get a teaching position, and teaching positions really don't pay all that great. Um, and it's why you see teacher unions fighting for better wages, fighting for benefits and all these things. A lot of it comes back down to they got a massive student loan debt that they have to finance, which adds to their cost, which means they need to demand more from the state in terms of pay and yada yada yada, cost loop effect. Um, so that's an issue. Another issue is you go into a university to study for a particular career that when you entered the university was in demand, and then you graduate from the university only to find all those jobs are shipped overseas. That's an issue. So now you have a useless degree because the thing that you went in for is gone now. The job that you studied to do is gone now. So that's an issue. It also affects healthcare costs. So uh, doctors graduate from medical universities with 200 to sometimes $500,000 in student loan debt. Now these are, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, so basically, if you're a doctor, you have to charge higher fees in order to repay that student loan debt. On top of that, you're required to buy malpractice insurance, which gobbles up even more. I mean, malpractice insurance, depending on what type of doctor you are, it's just outrageous. We're talking 50, 60K a year in the insurance on top of your 200 to 500, $100,000 in student loan debt. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to charge a lot to recoup anything to make money. There's a good reason why healthcare costs so much here. Um, and so there's a debate about forgiving student loan debt here in the U.S. And like I said, that would be a boom to the economy because one, people's spending capacity would be increased, so it would increase demand for all sorts of given products and services. But it wouldn't be a solution to the problem. I mean, it student loans are really weird. One of the things about student, unlike other loans, so you take out a home mortgage loan. If you go into, I don't know, you pay for 5 years and you're fine, and all of a sudden, I don't know, you get hit by a car or something, and now you can't work, and so now you can't pay the mortgage, which basically destroys you financially. But you can go in and declare bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy it takes the debt burden away from you. Well, it also takes your home away from you, but but the debt burden doesn't follow you. I mean, you leave. Well, you leave homeless, but you leave without the debt, and so you can theoretically start over. And in 7 years, your credit will be reestablished. That's an interesting thought. So if you lose your home, your credit's destroyed, which means you wouldn't be able to get an apartment because apartments make you. Well, that explains why there's so many homeless people. Because then, well, anyhow, that's another rant. So yeah, student loans you can't declare bankruptcy. You can't get them forgiven, and they stay with you. Another thing about student loans is, say you have excellent credit, and you have student loans and you want to refinance those loans. So say the loans, in my case, they're at 6%. My credit allots me to get loans at 2-3%, but you can't refinance student loans. That's disturbing that you can't refinance a student loan to get a lower interest rate. So you can't take advantage of the market in that sense. You're just stuck with the student loan debt, and you can't get rid of it if you go bankrupt. Yeah, anyhow, student loans right now are in excess of $1 trillion of the U.S. economy. There's $1 trillion in student loans out there right now. And there aren't jobs that where you can really pay those off. I mean, they're just not there. The type of jobs you need to get to pay off the loans. And this is going into hard fields as well as soft fields. I mean, of course, if you're going to graduate with a degree, well, like I did, I graduated with a degree in history with a minor in philosophy. There's not really a demand for that. Strangely, I would make less as a teacher than I currently make, which is really disturbing. Yeah, that's an issue in itself. But I think we're going to see a crisis with student loan debt, and it's going to be an interesting crisis because I don't see a solution to it. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. Probably in the next 5 years or something, we'll probably see something like that because the economy isn't really recovering. The type of jobs that are growing, like where I live, there's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're all over the place. They're just really low wage. We're talking a high field wage of $9 an hour, which a living wage here where I live, you can get by and if you're working 40 hours, you can get by on 11, and that would be enough to get your basics. So on like an apartment to live in, food, not enough to cover healthcare. Not enough to cover, well, not enough to cover anything other than an apartment and some food. Hopefully you're close enough to your employer to walk or ride a bike, which odds are you're not, because in America everything's far away. So you have to drive a car, or be like me and ride a bike 5 miles there, 5 miles back, 5 miles there, 5 miles back, 5 miles there, 5 miles back every day. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really foresee a solution to this. I mean, it's a systemic problem. The university costs too much. There aren't any jobs. There's no point really to go to get an education. I mean, other than bettering yourself and gaining an understanding of the world, which I guess further leads to a growing sense of growing general ignorance of the world around you, which is probably not good for a population of a superpower. But well, anyhow, I'm gonna throw some links down there. One talking about the student loans reaching $1 trillion. Another one talking about how it's how you can't declare bankruptcy, but they also none of these seem to talk about the fact that you can't refinance them, which is something I've attempted to do, and I couldn't do it. I found some kind of sneaky deaky things I could do. I'm not sure if they're legal though. So like taking out a 2% loan and using that money to pay off the student loans. I don't know if that's illegal, but definitely thinking about it. I don't know. I need to research that to make sure that's not illegal. Transferring the debt. Well, anyhow, so yeah, I'm gonna throw some links up there, and there you go. Bye.